episode 4036, where every word counts.
Moms, it's time to rediscover, rejuvenate, and renew who you are in mind, body, and spirit. Welcome to Create Your Now, Your Best Selfie, the show to help you do just that. Here's your host, certified life coach, personal trainer, and nutritionist, Christiane Wargo.
Happy day. I hope you're having a fabulous weekend. I know we are in for some much needed rain down here in the south, but I know in some areas they're having major storms. So I pray for you that you are on a happy medium, that you can find the peace that you need to this weekend, where every word counts. For those of you who are brand new to Create Your Now, welcome to this incredible family. I'm so delighted of your presence. If you already haven't had the opportunity, you want to head on over to createyournow.com, where you can learn more and sign up for the Kisses newsletter, the Keep It Simple strategy, everyday solutions to live, love, and impact. Well, this episode is brought to you by AIM, Inspiring Connection and Community. Well, just to give you a heads up, I mentioned this on another episode, but I'm going to be doing it quite frequently here because we found out that our feed for this podcast has not been going where it needs to on Apple Podcast. So if you feel like you're behind, take a deep breath. It's okay. You can catch up. It's not a big deal. And you can just start where you are. You don't have to go back and listen to them. But I did just realize that the last couple days. And so I'm working with Apple Podcasts directly to see what's wrong, and we can get that figured out. So if you're just now coming back on, welcome back. I'm so glad to have you. I promise you I didn't go anywhere, but sometimes technology can leave you hanging. And so if for any reason you're like, well, where did you go? And like, where are you? Connect. Go to our website, createyournow.com. Send me a note. My email's everywhere. connect@createyournow.com. So you've got connections with me. It's not like I'm leaving you hanging. So reach out, because I don't know sometimes. I cannot be everywhere. We have the podcast on so many different feeds out there. And some of them, I didn't even put them there. They just take them. And I'm not going to go into the details. But what matters is I want to make sure that you're being loved on and you need and get what you want, right? And that's the main thing here. So I've been here, I promise. So if you've been around and you're not listening to Apple Podcasts, we have nothing to worry about. But I would say if you ever question, go to the website. The website is there and you can listen to it, okay? And you can listen to it directly on there. And you're like, that's more challenging. I get it. I understand. But you still can do that if you're wondering, especially if you go after a few days and you're like, gosh, Christiane's always here and she didn't say anything. She's not sick. She didn't sound horrible. You know what I mean? So yeah. And I know life happens and it all does, right? That's why we're talking about relationships right now. When we look at our marriages, how can things not fall apart at times? Because life is life. Life gets in the way. Life is complicated. We don't have a lot of easy answers to everything that happens in our lives. And so sometimes at a drop of a hat, you're finding yourself going off doing something else because you have no choice. But there are a few things that are very foundational. And in today's episode, that is going to be one of them. This is like it needs to stick to your bones, literally. Now, I know you've probably heard this one, and most of us grew up with this one. It's this childhood chant, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Let's be real. Sticks and stones, they might leave bruises, right? You can see, but words leave scars you can't. They penetrate deeper, especially in marriage, where every word counts. Who would have thought that something so small could wound so deep? 3 words, a sentence, not even a dissertation. You're not even reading them or rights, and you're like, blah, 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 and all of a sudden it's like, what? And now you're completely the enemy. That's unfortunate. We all do it. Yes, and that includes me. We all have our foot in the mouth moments. Some of us have it more than others, or we have it more in different situations. And it's important that we understand this and, really dig deeper into that. Don't think that, it's just him, because that's the issue. Maybe your husband has owned up to a small slip up, whatever that is. And in the big scheme of things, it really wasn't a big deal, but it added to the mounting list of stress for you. All of a sudden, it's like, that's the straw that broke the camel's back. That's it. I'm done. I can't do this. So then you are quick to defend rather than love. And all of a sudden you become the enemy because of your attack on his character and not the action. If we're honest, and we're going to be, it can feel so good to let someone have it with your words. I mean, honestly, it's like, it's just this rush in a positive way, kind of, sort of. Okay, don't take that the wrong way. But it can, because all of a sudden it's a release. It's a pressure release. Why do you think people swear? Number one, we were told we can't. Okay. And number two, that's why we like to do it. And so we do it because it's this immediate pressure release. Now, does it change anything? No. Usually it makes it worse. Right? And that's why we have the power of words and why they're so important. And so when you're in a discussion or an argument or somebody comes and says something to you, specifically your spouse, and you're like, I just can't do this anymore. In your head, you're saying that. And then you turn with, of course you did. That's so like you. Like, you may not have meant it that way, yet your tone said you did. And you're like, but it really didn't, it wasn't supposed to come off that way, but it was received that way, right? So you've got that feel-good moment because you lashed out, you released the pressure for yourself, but it only caused chaos later. And those chaos laters, I mean, those moments could be just like immediate, or it could be like, And then when you look back minutes or days later, you discover that words do hurt more than you thought. Why? Because you're still arguing about the same thing. Oh, wait, maybe not about the same thing. It's still doing the same thing, but now it's just a different problem. Verbal attacks are easy to throw. We all do them. But those words just don't hit and vanish. They stick. They linger. I mean, it's like gum on a shoe. Have you ever stepped in gum on a shoe? Well, let me just tell you, down here in the South, that is the last thing you want to do, especially in the summer. I don't know what they put in it. Okay, I do know what they put in gum, but just hear me out. When it's just right, like just right in its temperature, and you step in it, not only do you feel the separation from your shoe, and you don't have to be wearing flip-flops or sandals. You can be in tennis shoes or heels or anything. You lift off just a little bit and you're like, oh, what is on my foot? Yet it's just a piece of gum. But all those little fibers have gotten into the depths and the crevices and the little pokey things that have gotten into your shoe, and it just grips like none other. And it doesn't matter how hard you scrub, peanut butter, dissolve. I mean, there's so many things out there on the market. I won't even go into all of them. There's still a residue, especially in the nooks and crannies. And that's what happens with our words. When we just toss them around so lightly and not think about them. Words poison. Words poison intimacy. Words can create distance, and it can erode trust. Yet, if you flip-flop it and you say, no, wait, what if I changed my words and I was intentional with kindness? Those words can heal. They can uplift, and they can reconnect. That's what you ultimately want. So where are you on the spectrum of sticks and stones? I know. Did I make you feel old when I wrote that down? I have no idea. Sometimes these things come to me. In fact, I was talking about something I don't know. I think it was my daughter. And I mentioned something, and I was like, oh my goodness, that came out of the depths of way, 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 way back when, like my great-great-grandma. I mean, words that I was like, I haven't used that word in forever. It wasn't a bad word. I don't remember what it was. But it was one of those things you're like, oh my goodness, well, this whole thought of sticks and stones may break your bones. Yeah. I'm like, they leave marks, but words leave scars. But what if your words could leave smiles instead? What if they could leave giggles? No one really likes to talk about the whole idea of when the end is near, as in the end of your life here on earth, and it's around the corner. And if you're blessed to be able to not have it happen immediately and you have a few days or months, you get to be honest with people and you can love on them differently. But what if we took that perspective now, especially in our marriages? And I'm not saying get all yucky on this and like, oh, obituary. I'm not doing that because I've done all of those crazy things where you write your obituary, what you want people to say about you. Okay, those are all great ideas. Don't get me wrong. Okay, as a coach, I've used a ton of them. But I think we need to get real in the nooks and crannies, right? Like the gum on your shoe. You got to find something that's sticky. And if you want to love your spouse well, you must speak life into your marriage. That is your kiss to keep it simple strategy. Speak life. Speak life into your marriage. Because if not, you are literally just cursing it. Whether or not you're using 4-letter words, it doesn't matter. You're just speaking down to it all the time. Well, why in the world are you married then? I mean, seriously, think about it. Now, I'm not at all. No, I'm not. Hear me out, please. I'm not saying to go get a divorce. No, I'm not. I am one who fights for marriages. I believe in marriage till death do you part. However, I will also say there are some people who get married for the wrong reasons, and there's abuse in marriages, and there are other circumstances with your spouse that maybe you cannot take control of, right? Because it's out of your control, because only they can make those changes. If they're not willing to do the work, if they are sick, maybe from a mental side of things, and they see things totally different and they're just like, yep, nothing's wrong with me. Or maybe it is, yes, obviously it could be adultery. It could be, well, I just don't like you anymore because I found something else, right? AI, yeah, I'm not going there, but I'll let your imagination go there, right? So you can sit here and conjure up anything you want in your mind. And that's where you can curse your own marriage, like seriously. But I believe in marriage. So if I believe in marriage so much, that's why I believe in the power of words. You got to speak life. And what comes out of our mouth? Words. Right? When we were babies, they were right? We had weird sounds that came out. But now we have words to express ourselves. Number one, you better know your words. Like, don't use words improperly. Know the definitions. There is nothing more hilarious, honestly. And that's me laughing because I can. Sometimes I'll be working and this will come across and somebody will send me an email and they'll be like, okay, well, this person said this, and this. And I'm looking at it and it's a spouse. And I'm thinking, they're not even using the words right. Like, it doesn't even mean that. So it questions me. And I'm like, I go to the dictionary, which means I go to Google and whatever else. And I research. I'm like, how would this even fit in? And then now you can go to AI, right? And you're like, why would you even say this? Now, I don't do that to all of it. But every once in a while, I'll get a few of those across my desk. And I'm thinking, this is absurd. Like, why? Big words, little words, it doesn't matter. But know their meanings, for goodness sakes. Don't sit there and act like, oh, words make me sound great. No, actually, they can make you sound really stupid if you use them wrong. Okay? I'm just being honest with you. So I don't think that's you. But if you try to play that game with your spouse, because there are spouses that do that, good, bad, or ugly, it doesn't matter. Right? You could be one of those spouses that are awesome. You do everything like you are as perfect can be, right? With your flaws, of course, and your quirks. But for the most part, you do really well. But maybe you have this tendency of you hear a word, maybe it's even when you're binge watching your content, right? Wherever you get it, or you hear it on another podcast, or you read it somewhere, whatever it is. And then all of a sudden you find yourself, oh, I like that word. That's a cool word. I want to use that word, but you use it wrong. Yeah, that doesn't help you at all, right? It doesn't help your case. And so you got to go back and say, okay, let's think about this. Where am I throwing my stones? Where am I gathering my sticks? What am I doing that works right? Am I loving well? So how do you speak life in real life in your everyday? Number one, pause before you speak. When you feel that rush to speak judgment or frustration, I kid you not, just stop. Stop. And if you need to tell yourself literally in your head, stop it. Stop. Stop. Then do it. Take a breath. Ask yourself, what am I really trying to say? Is it about the action or is it about my feelings? Or is it more about pointing fingers at someone else? Is it about attacking the behavior or is it more about attacking the person? A short pause can save long-term damage. Let's think about skincare. You're like, how did you go from the power of words to skincare? Hang on, we're going there. Why? Because it's spring, and what's around the corner? Summer. And what's next with summer? Sunscreen. You know where this is going, don't you? If you are one who has never used sunscreen, but you worship the sun, do you think you're going to have long-term damage? You know that answer already. I don't have to tell you. That's the whole point here. If you keep doing certain things, you're creating long-term damage. And if you want to think about it, yeah, it's eroding your spouse's heart. And it's horrible. And it just tears it up. And pretty soon, the wounds are so deep and the scars cannot be scraped. They can't be saved. Marriage is done. So pause before you speak. Let me tell you, it does wonders. And don't just use it with your spouse. Use it with your kids. Use it with colleagues, especially. If you're in a very, very stressful situation, there's no reason that you have to jump in. Allow yourself to have 10 seconds of silence. Let me tell you, if you have that silence, that's going to speak louder than your words. Seriously. Because you're positioning yourself. So pause to give yourself that position. Number 2, speak to the action, not the character. Focus your words on what happened, not who your spouse is because of what happened. So instead of course you did, or I knew you'd do that, say, I wish you would let me know ahead of time. If you could have given me a heads up. Call out the action, not the person. This creates space for problem solving without blame. We all make mistakes. Do you really want your mistakes pointed out all the time? Probably not. But at least be kind when you do it and look to the action, not to the character of the person. Because guess what? As much as you may want to, you are not going to change their character. That's not your job. Nope, nope, and nope. Number 1, you can't do it. But you can speak to their actions. And what you say and how you say it can help them with their next action that they would take. See the difference? And then finally, number 3, use words that invite connection. Flip the switch from judgment to, my favorite, curiosity. Phrases like, help me understand why this happened. Or maybe, I appreciate you telling me. Invite your spouse into a conversation, not a conflict. Don't push buttons just to push buttons. I'm going to tell you right now, there are a lot of people out there in this world that like to push buttons. And it's very sad. And there are actually some areas in the mental health space where that's just where they are all the time. And I don't really even want to mention it directly and say the word of what I'm talking about. I think you can figure it out. It starts with an N. But this word is used so often that almost it becomes a praise. And then people start to use it against people because they don't even know what it means. And then those people who are them, what happens is now they're trying to blame it on everybody else. But it's really them. You see what I'm saying? It gets really, really tough. So if you are in a marriage that you question the mental well-being of your spouse, I would encourage you to get professional help. Seriously. For your protection and for your spouse's. Now, if it's with the whole thing of the big N, and the only reason why I'm leaving it out, it's not that it's a problem. It's just talked about so much, and I don't want to get caught up on it, okay? I really don't. But with our world today, and it's not helping, technology is kind of pushing this, in all honesty, right? And then on top of that, we now have AI. And so now everybody thinks or I should say it this way, everybody thinks that they're smart in their own ways. Why? Because they can pretend. They just ask AI. But it's interesting. If you really deal with the human person and the human being, I promise you can catch the AI things. I do it all the time. I see it all the time. I get bombarded with people wanting to write articles for Create Your Now. I get people who want to come on the podcast and be interviewed, and on the TV show, and then they want me to come and speak and be interviewed and all of this. Oh my goodness, it goes on and on and on. I mean, and I'm like, boy, it would be nice if there was a human being behind this email. I can tell. And the ones that are using all of that, nope, no thank you. Because I want someone who put some thought and effort into it. AI doesn't. AI is not attached to a heart and never will be. So you got to be really careful. And so if you're sitting there, I know we kind of digressed a little bit, but it's important. If you're sitting there and you do have a legitimate concern about the mental well-being of your spouse, you need to seek professional help for yourself and for your spouse. Now, your spouse may not want to have anything to do with it. Then you need to really look seriously about your safety. And you need to find somebody that will have your back no matter what. No matter what. They trust you. You trust them. They take you at your word. You can tell them anything, and they don't judge you. That's the kind of person you want in your corner. Seriously. Because what happens is someone who is mentally unhealthy, I will say it that way. Again, what am I doing here? I'm being careful with my words, right? You got to be. Because you can't be insensitive either. Because some of our mental health in our society, honestly, some of it can't be controlled. It goes deeper and they need medication. But the problem is the ones that need the medication sometimes don't know they need it. And it leads to other problems. And then there are those that think they are so great and perfect and they do no wrong that they're not going to do anything anyway. And so it's very tough. So that's why you have to have somebody in your corner that you can trust. And I speak from experience, not from personal as into my relationship with my husband. Let me just clear that right off the bat. No. We are healthy, in love, wonderful. He's stable, I'm stable, just so you know. Now, when you have a party, it is a party every day. And sometimes, we get a little quirky and that's all right, right? We have a lot of fun. We laugh. There are tears that are shed. Yes, we have disagreements, but it's not like an outright war. It's not. Life's too short. We can disagree, but we can figure it out and we can come together to find a solution. That's what you want in a marriage. You don't need a battlefield all the time, right? You don't need to just weaponize everything that you're doing. Compassionate words build bridges. So start using those, especially when the path is rocky. Every harsh sentence, every careless phrase, all those 4-letter words that you use, especially in front of the kids, watch out. It chips away at the bond you share. And quite frankly, sometimes you've never shared it. There are some marriages out there which breaks my heart. But really, it never should have happened. For lots of different reasons. Some mental well-being. One spouse versus another spouse. One is healthy and one is not. Others I've seen is that they are, yes, definitely, I am not wrong. I love who I am and I'm not changing. You're the problem. Well, if that's the case, I'm here to tell you right now. It takes one to start, but two to finish. Both of you are the problem. And I know. I've been through my own battles. And you see, my husband and I came out on the other side. Most marriages don't make it. They don't. And some should not. But many should that don't. And so I really want you to dig deeper. And I don't know, maybe that's why Apple Podcast honestly freaked out, because we started making some changes and maybe people were like, oh, this is so much. I don't know. Anyway, it could be. You just never know. Technology is weird. Things show up, coincidental or not. You can think what you want, but it is kind of interesting because I know here in this new year, I have been personally challenged to take you all on a deeper dive. And it's hard. It's hard to do it on a podcast. And that's why we're going to be opening up AIM. We're going to have Kairos, which is our free community. AIM will be a paid community. More to come on that. And then, of course, we're going to have our PJ parties, and which is going to be on Zoom. So it's going to be fun. You're going to want to be there. I mean, our PJ party with Jesus, we need that. We need more of that. Because quite frankly, a lot of people are walking around and they just don't know anymore. They don't feel like they can trust anybody. And a lot of people are just lost, or they feel lost. And in marriage, it's easy to get that way because you're wrapped up with the dinner dishes and dogs. You got the kids screaming. You got the husband, just whatever. You got the career, and maybe you don't have the husband and you're a single mom. It's hard. Yeah, I know. It's hard. But regardless of where you are, I want you to know this. Words matter. Words matter. So every kind, thoughtful word, it strengthens your love. It strengthens your marriage. No one ever succeeded in marriage by throwing verbal stones. They don't, but a lot of people do. So choose words that build instead of break. The ones you'll want remembered, not the ones that you'll regret. My friend, you've got the power in your tongue. Speak life where every word counts. Go in peace. Be present. Be incredible. Be you. I love you so very much. I cannot wait to see you on the other side. Blessings, hugs, and lots of love. We'll talk to you real soon. Have a glorious, blessed day. Bye-bye.
Feeling inspired, ready to train for life and love your journey? Visit createyournow.com for more incredible resources to help you along the way. We'll see you next time on Create Your Now, Your Best Selfie. And remember, always be sure you consult your physician before beginning any health and fitness plan.